Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. Leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi is on a visit to the United States. He spoke in Dallas, Texas, and among some of the controversial things he said was trying to explain the meaning of the word devta. He said it has nothing to do with God. He said it's about somebody who has both internal and external peace. He also said that China does not have an unemployment problem, unlike India or even America for that matter. He also said that the RSS does not believe in promoting women leaders, and he thinks that RSS feels the place for women is in the kitchen and inside the house. One thing is clear. Yes, Rahul Gandhi's image has undergone a transformation, no doubt about it, first through the course of the Bharat Jodo Yatra and then subsequently during and after the Lok Sabha elections, particularly after the Lok Sabha election results, where his party went from 50-odd seats to 99 seats and he himself became the leader of the opposition. But one thing is also equally clear, that whatever image change Rahul Gandhi may have had, his propensity to say controversial things has not diminished, as was in evidence in his first visit abroad as leader of the opposition, as was in evidence in what he said in Dallas, Texas to the Indian diaspora. So the question that we're asking is a straightforward and simple one. Are Rahul Gandhi's attacks from foreign soil, in this case the United States, are they warranted? Are they well-meaning? And do they add up to something coherent? But first, the story.
The BJP and the RSS believe that women should be restricted to a particular role. They should stay at home. They should cook the food. They should not talk too much, right? And we believe that women should be allowed to aspire to whatever they want to do. So devta in India actually means a person whose internal feelings are exactly the same as his external expression. Meaning he's a completely transparent being. China certainly doesn't have an employment problem. Vietnam doesn't have an employment problem. China is dominating global production. America, Europe, India have given up on the idea of production. And they've handed it to China.
It's strange that he always finds some good example of China. He raises questions about the RSS and history, etc. But he won't inform the rest of the world that in India, history was taught in a skewed manner right up to Narendra Modi ji's government.
What Rahul Gandhi said in his lecture was absolutely right. Our universities are being completely hijacked. The curriculum is getting hijacked. The institutions are getting hijacked by one ideology, one organization.
So I want to draw a distinction here. This is Mr. Gandhi's first visit abroad as leader of the opposition. So we have to keep that in one square jacket. And then you have the visits that he's made in the past, where again he said some pretty controversial things. So it's not the first time that he has attacked the Modi government while he's been on a trip abroad. For example, in Britain in 2022, he said the deep state, the CBI, the ED, etc. are all chewing up India and eating it, much like in Pakistan. In Germany, when he went there in August of 2018, Rahul Gandhi at that time said Prime Minister Modi is unpatriotic as he utilizes public anger for himself and he damages India and India's cause. In Malaysia in March of 2018, he said if anyone gave me a file to roll out demonetization, I would throw it in the dustbin. In Singapore in March of 2018, part of the same visit when he went to Malaysia, he said the general atmosphere of intimidation in India, a politics of division, is used to win elections. And then prior to that, when he went to the United States in 2017, he said the idea of non-violence is under attack in India, India that is known for ahimsa under Gandhi. He also said in that same trip that the Modi government helps only the top 100 companies and has left the vast poor to its own devices. So, are those attacks, the latest ones that he has made, from Dallas, Texas. Like I said, the first is Leader of the Opposition. Are they warranted? Are they well-founded? Are they anchored in fact? Or is it political rhetoric? Let's try and put that to our full panel that's joining us tonight. On Brass Tacks, Shazia Ilmi is National Spokesperson of the BJP. Kanchan Gupta is Senior Advisor with the INB Ministry. Dr. Shama Mohammed is National Spokesperson of the Congress Party. Nidja Chaudhary, Senior Journalist, is also joining us. So let me start. There are three broad attacks that he's made, and I want to touch upon all three. First is his definition of Devta, as he put it. Second is the role of women, as he sees it, what the RSS thinks of women. And third is this whole business about China does not have an unemployment problem, but India does. So let me ask Dr. Shama Mohammed, the meaning of the word Devta. Everyone in India knows Devta means God or God-like. Why would Mr. Gandhi want to confuse that by saying, oh, it's a person who has achieved internal and external peace? Because again, the BJP has launched into this saying that this is in keeping with Mr. Gandhi's A, poor understanding, and B, more importantly, as the BJP sees it and puts it, his anti-Hindu mentality.
Okay. Now, today I was at a memorial service at the ISKCON Mandir, and what the priest said was all religions, whatever they teach, lead to a similar path. Now, what I want to say, what Rahul Gandhi meant is, for example, the Prime Minister says he embodies Hindutva, Hindu gods. That's what he said. He said he's not biological. He feels that he has come from God. God has sent him. Let me ask you one simple thing. What happened this month? One, a man from West Bengal was lynched in Haryana for saying that he's a cow smuggler, which he was not. Number two, a boy who was 19 years old was followed, attacked, and shot down thinking he's a cow just because of the suspicion that he's a cow smuggler, where the Prime Minister of India has not said a single word. But at the same time, in a BJP-ruled state in Goa, you can eat beef. So that is what he means, is what is your ideology? You say you're an embodiment of God, or you're non-biological, but at the same time, people are getting killed for no reason in this country. There is a lot of hate. There is a lot of hatred out here. And he talks about what the Hindu Dharam talks about. Love, what the Bhagavad Gita talks about, is about love, is about taking care, is about, having a camaraderie between each other. But that is not there here. The Prime Minister of India has not even visited Manipur, but where rockets are being propelled right now, and he goes to Ukraine to stop a war. He's traveling around the world, Singapore, everywhere.
Okay.
So what he's trying to say is, do it, show what you are. And I truly believe Rahul Gandhi is right here.
So let me ask Shazia Ilmi. So the Congress party believes you could find fault with Mr. Gandhi for poor choice of words or poor expression or whatever, but he has hit upon this idea, and he's being validated by the 2024 election result, that this whole Mohabbat ki dukaan is working, that Bharat Jodo Yatra is working, which is why Congress went from 54 to 99 and you folks went from 303 to 240. He is now doubling down on this message. And to also please answer Shama Mohammed's point, there have been 3 lynchings in the past month, 2 in Haryana, 1 in Maharashtra. You folks have said nothing about it.
Now, all of us folks have said a lot about it, but it's surprising that Rahul Gandhi has said nothing about the rape of a minor girl, in fact 2 minor girls in UP, only because he was protecting his party, his alliance partner Akhilesh Yadav, who in turn was protecting Mohit Khan and Nawab Yadav. Not just that, Rahul Gandhi has yet to say and speak to Abhaya's parents and visit them. Everybody is waiting their trip, because we all know how Priyanka Gandhi spoke for the Kathua victim. Rahul Gandhi also has to answer for the fact that the accused, who was supported by, the biggest supporter of the accused of the Kathua rape, has been given a ticket from Kathua. So that's something that Rahul Gandhi should definitely speak on. And the chilling fact that all the rapes that have happened in all the states that are a part of India Alliance, Rahul Gandhi decides to stay mum. So there are many things he should say, but let me just tell you, there are many things he should say, but I would talk about things he ought not say, because he cuts a very sorry figure. He displays a complete lack of knowledge or basic information, And I think he does himself a disservice, and not just his party, but all the parties whom he represents as LOP. First of all, he talks about Chinese economy. Now, I don't know what's happening in the Chinese economy, but we do know about the Indian economy and how it's thriving and how it's amongst top 5 and how across sectors it is growing by leaps and bounds, and a lot of good stuff is happening. He talks about poverty. Now, I can give you figures of poverty that 10 years back, what a poverty was and what it is now. So, you know, if you look at just numbers, and these are facts. So, India has almost eliminated extreme poverty, which is reduced now to 2.2%. Now, 10 years back, if you were to look at, you would see that out of 12 out of 100 people lived on $90 purchasing power parity wise a day or less. Today the number has dropped to 2 out of 100. When you look at higher poverty, not extreme poverty, 54 out of 100 lived on $3.20 a day or less, and now only 17 out of 100 face this level of poverty. So in many ways, poverty has been reduced. That's one thing.
No, I think his line was about joblessness.
About talking about Devta.
One second. Let me open this up. One second. There are 2 other guests. I need to go to them.
No, I want to say the last thing.
Before I go to them, one second.
I want to say the last thing.
Shazia,
everybody knows that Devi and Devtas are gods and goddesses.
See, that's the question I asked you.
Yeah, but I was coming to the third point.
At the fag end after 3 minutes of your answer. One second. Let me open this up. Let's talk about the China point, and I want Kanchan Gupta and Neerja Chaudhary to weigh in on this. Rahul Gandhi says China does not have an unemployment problem. India has an unemployment problem. This is the data. I want to put this out. Unemployment, 15 to 24 age group. In 2020, in China, it was 12.7%. In India, it was 24.6%. In 2021, China, 12.4%. India, 20.9%. In 2022, China 14.8%, India 17.8%. In 2023, which is the last year we have data for, China 15.7%, India 15.8%. So while the trajectory of unemployment is increasing in China, in India it's decreasing, but no one can suggest that there is no unemployment problem in India. I mean, we've seen what happened in Mumbai a few weeks ago, Kanchan Gupta. Some 25,000 people turned up for becoming bag loaders at the airport.
You know, if you look at what the manner in which Rahul Gandhi has tried to present himself as a very deep thinker, as an economist, as a theologian, as a deep philosopher, etc.
Strategist.
But in effect, if you just replay them, whatever he has said a couple of times, you would know that he comes from a very shallow understanding of what is Indian culture, Indian religion. For instance, Devata is a derivative of the word Dev, which means God. Devata becomes a particular God. It can be your Kul Devta, it can be your Gaon Devta, anything. And it is not a word which is in use only in India. If you go to, for instance, in Thailand, the word Tevada exists. If you go to Bali, it becomes Devata. And if you go to other places in the southeast, there's a very similar, phonetically similar word exists for specific gods and specific deities. That is, I'm just giving this by way of explanation. I mean, I do not expect him to know better than what he espoused over there. Now, coming to China, I would have understood what he was trying to say had he been making a similar statement 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when his party was in power, when we really were lagging behind in terms of job creation, and therefore we had a very high unemployment rate. Now, you yourself have given data up to 2023, and what it also shows is that India has more or less emerged unscathed in terms of the Indian economy, and this is again a fact which has been acknowledged by economists, various studies, various think tanks, various Western governments. that the Indian economy has emerged the least affected by the COVID shutdown over 2 consecutive years. Now, third point which I would like to make, if you cannot just talk of jobs in terms of numbers, you have to also look at where those jobs are coming from. What is the quality of jobs? I definitely do not want to have China-like sweatshops in India, where people are prohibited from going for a loo break for hours at end. Or whether they
I'm sorry I'm interrupting, but I just want to play out these two sets of pictures. On the unemployment question, I referred to this when I asked you also. In July 2024, there was a recruitment drive for airport bag loaders. 25,000 applicants turned up for 2,216 vacancies. It was a stampede outside the Bombay airport.
No, that is possible,
right.
but you
now,
are...
Similarly, just 10 seconds, just 10 seconds. Similarly, in January of 2024, UP police recruitment for constable level jobs, 50 lakh applicants for 60,244 constable posts. Now, surely, I mean, I know this is anecdotal and those pictures are quite dramatic.
No, you are not. It is not anecdotal. It is perfectly.
So there is a jobs problem.
No, it is perfectly explainable. In our country, we have parties like the Congress which still ride whatever stays back or whatever lingers on of the wasted Nehruvian decades of Nehruvian socialism, which later became Indira Gandhi brand of socialism, where people are, we sort of auto-drive this into our children the moment they are born, that you shall grow up into a government job, that jobs mean 5 to 9 or whatever, and that there shall be salary, there shall be pension, there shall be this benefit, that benefit. Those kind of jobs do not exist anywhere in the world. And on your show, I think we had the Congress advisor or another channel who agreed that these kind of jobs are not available anymore. Which brings me to the two anecdotes which you mentioned. I do not think everybody who landed up for those jobs was unemployed. What they were looking for is a better job. Now, if you take a natural, or if you take an extension of this and look for a matching example in the West, if you look at the queues that stand outside supermarkets for jobs over there. Now, it's not that all of them are unemployed, but maybe they are switching jobs from one supermarket to another supermarket. Maybe they are looking for a higher salary. Maybe they are looking for better.
I'm not sure what would qualify as worse off than an airport bag loader. With no offense to anyone, but I want to go back to a larger point. Neerja Chaudhary.
No, but Air Force bag loaders it's a very good job.
One second, Neerja, one second. Neerja has been waiting patiently. It's been 15 minutes into the debate. Please allow her the courtesy. She's the senior most person on this panel. Please, Shazia and Shama, please, 1 second. Neerja Chaudhary, I want to stick to this whole point. You can fault Rahul Gandhi for, very bad phraseology, bad expression of what is Devta, maybe shallow understanding, as Kanchan Gupta said. But he seems to be hammering home this point. We saw this in his first speech as LOP about Abhay Mudra and what Hinduism means and so on and so forth. And the political question that people are asking is, if Hinduism, Hindutva, etc., religiosity is the BJP's pitch, why is Rahul Gandhi playing on that pitch? Again, in Texas, with this whole Devta analogy, he's trying to double down on that same pitch, which is the BJP's strong suit, not the Congress's. Why is he doing that?
No, I absolutely agree with you. Rahul Gandhi's first trip to the US as LOP is being watched very carefully. You and I were listening to it carefully. So also in the US, people would be following it. Overall, yes, I agree with you. Why does he go for the Devta analogy? Unnecessary, I also felt. He will get, it'll be picked up by the other side, needless. Why does he go for saying China has no unemployment when he's talking in terms of unemployment in the US and India and all that needs to be done? So I agree with you. Those are pitfalls he could have absolutely avoided. Overall, if you listen to the speech, what comes across? And I've been a critic of him, criticizing in his earlier visits the government or the Prime Minister personally, because that is something he should do much more at home rather than outside, unless you are in a very academic small group exchange in the universities outside. But overall, he is much more confident. The overall message he was trying to give was an alternative vision that is of an inclusive India. Love in politics, which got him an applause from his audience. How he came across this phrase of नफरत के बाजार में मोहब्बत की दुकान खोलने जा रहे हैं. He said he learned during his Bharat Jodo Yatra that he has to, the politician must destroy the self and must reflect what other people are telling him. What the people are telling him, listen to that carefully and project that to the country. Now, even Bharat Jodo Yatra has obviously changed him in many ways. And it is, it is the one thing that's his achievement. It doesn't come from entitlement or the family that he belongs to. It is his. But I would say where I was disappointed, that was as LOP is a potential future Prime Minister of India. I would look to him. What is going to be your economic policy, not in terms of generic, that unemployment has to be dealt with. Of course, he talked about manufacturing and increasing that in India. But what is that blueprint economically? What is the blueprint? What is going to be our stand towards China, America, our neighborhood where we've got hostile neighbors today? If he comes to power, what is he going to do? And above all, yes, a blueprint for how he's going to tackle unemployment in the country, which is a burning issue and will become more so. So that is where who's going to be in his team and so on. Much more concrete plan of an LOP getting ready to come to power. So that is what I would
say.
Look for,
they say this in the context of choices, whether it's in the US or in the UK. If you are a challenger to the topmost job, it's not just good enough if you say, oh, this is bad with the incumbent, or this is what the incumbent is doing poorly. You have to offer an alternate vision. So whatever Mohabbat ki dukaan and all of that, those are phrases. What does that mean in concrete terms, in policy terms? Even let's leave that aside. In economic terms, and I'm going to put out more data here. This whole thing about India is somehow still not able to realize its economic potential fully, which is a sort of a leitmotif in Mr. Gandhi's speeches. Look at the growth rates in India and China. 2020, which was the year of COVID, it was a bad year for the entire global economy. India grew at negative 5.8%, China grew at 2.2%. In 2021, the following year, India grew at 9.7%, China grew at 8.4%. In 2022, India grew at 7%, China grew at 3%. And in 2023, India grew at 7.6% and China grew at 5.2%. So, Shama Mohammed, to say that India is not growing as fast as China, or India is not able to realize its economic potential like the way China did, that again is not borne out by fact. That's not borne out by data.
Zaka, you have to give me time because I need to reply to people. So I want to say one very important thing. Shazia spoke about poverty. I can tell you we have official records of Oxfam and the United Nations, which clearly said from 2004 to 2015, 27 crore people have been uplifted out of poverty. In 2022, a report came where 23 Indian people have gone into poverty. Now, whatever Shazia says, they are not records where we have Oxfam and the United Nations. Now, replying to Kanchan Gupta, the great, who keeps saying things about unemployment, there is no unemployment. He has to know two things. In 2018, first time in the Indian history, in 45 years, the highest unemployment rate came up. Number two, in this year, they reduced capex because they wanted to increase private investment. He says we need private jobs, not government jobs. But where are the private jobs? Why hasn't the private investment come in? There is no private investment coming into this country. Third, what she said, Shazia said about the rate in Kolkata. I'm telling you, both Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi have unequally, vocally condemned it. She says, why hasn't Rahul Gandhi gone there? I want to ask her, why didn't the Prime Minister of India meet any of the wrestlers when they were protesting here against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who was a member of parliament? Why did the Prime Minister of India release the rapists of Bilkis Banu? And they were campaigning in the assembly elections of Gujarat.
Why
Okay.
has the Prime Minister of India gone to Manipur? And
That's
wait,
not the
okay,
material
my point.
subject of
Let me
tonight's
finish.
debate.
About
We've done enough
unemployment.
debates
No,
on
let-
women's
you've
safety
given all
and
of
where
them so
political
much
parties
time.
and
This is not
politicians
done.
stand on it.
You didn't interrupt
So
that. Let me finish about the unemployment,
Yeah.
Zaka. So the unemployment, now what Rahul Gandhi is saying, let's clearly understand. You always say about COVID, how the country has come back. Let us look at 2018, one of the biggest economic crises in the world. UAE crashed, America crashed. The only country we did not crash was India. India came back at that point of time. Why don't we talk about that too? Here we still have unemployment issues. Last
Okay.
December, 10.8% by the CMIE.
Okay.
And you know what happened to
All
India?
right.
Now,
You know, again, I want to come back. I want to come back to Rahul Gandhi's first visit as LOP to the United States. Shazia Elmi, while Nirja is right that you want to see a blueprint, you want to see what the opposition's alternative vision is. One thing, and like I said, you can always fault him for poor phraseology, poor expression. But the fact is that today it's the India Alliance, the Congress Party and its alliance partners who are saying that we are going to take everyone along. Although your parties and your governments, this thing is sabka saath, but nobody from your party or government is talking about people getting lynched. So you might sneer at Rahul Gandhi saying, Nafrat ki bazaar mein mohabbat ki dukaan, but clearly it's resonating with some people. To the extent
Shazia, why
that
do you
today,
have
no, one
beef with
second. Let me
Why
ask
do
the
you have
question.
beef with
Shama, let me
Because
ask the
it is
question. No,
BJP
please.
and good thing
Shama,
of
let me ask the
BJP.
question. Why are you asking on my behalf? Please, relax.
We can't
The
say
point
that.
is, you might sneer, Shazia, at the phraseology about Devta, about Mohabbat ki Dukaan, etc., but it's working electorally. Not just look at the 2024 Lok Sabha election results, but look at what's coming up ahead. Look at what is happening in Haryana right now, what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir right now, and I know Maharashtra and Jharkhand are still some time away, but it seems like this is resonating with some people to the extent that they're willing to give the opposition a chance.
Then ask her about
No,
Goa.
one
I'll
second.
tell you why.
No.
Because
Let me
while you
decide.
fought
I'm the
him-
anchor.
And I want to, and Zaka, while you used my name last time when Nirja ji was talking, let me tell you, it wasn't me at all. I was actually quietly researching. So you said,
Sorry.
my name
Sorry,
aloud
sorry,
in
sorry.
vain.
I-
It wasn't
my
me.
bad, yeah.
So that's
Okay.
one thing. So while you say that one shouldn't fault him for poor phraseology, you must at least fault him for poor factual knowledge. And because it was not based on fact, you pointed that out about China, about unemployment, and of course the figures that come out of China can never be trusted. And of course, India being a democracy and China being whatever it is, it's not a great comparison at all. And he was honest because unemployment figures are bad in US and all over. But to compare India with China, knowing very well that they both are very different economies, that India is really catching up, has done a great job in the last 10 years, in not just terms of its image, growing, expanding economy, and also working on better growth in GDP growth and other factors. The fact of the matter is that Rahul Gandhi reflects, it's very shallow, his understanding of anything at all, whether it's economy, whether it's world politics, whether it's even India and Indian institutions. So while earlier visits, he has only complained and talked about the how pathetic and how he denigrated the democratic institutions. This time at least he knew better because he has got more seats. So he knew better than to do that because the last laugh would have been on him. But at this point of time, he speaks about Devi, Devta, and it's rather amusing how he talks about equanimity between inward and outward expression. And I mean, Devi, Devta are gods and goddesses. So I don't know. And so this new avatar that he finds himself in, I think it confuses him and it confounds everyone else. And you talked about why he did well. You know, when you go around his Mohabbat ki dukaan, which is jhoot or fareeb ki dukaan, when you go around spreading lies that constitution is in danger, they will take this away from you, they will take that away. That worked, and our fault is we did not correct it. I'm sure we did badly. I'm sure we should have introspected. I'm sure there were many other factors. But this was a very big factor in him getting to 99 seats.
So let me get the closing comments from Kanchan Gupta and from Nirja Chaudhary. Kanchan Gupta, you know, for better or for worse, this is the framing. This is the political framing. You have Prime Minister Modi is obviously a larger than life figure. He's still the most popular politician in the country. But the only other politician nationally and whose stature, whose image has now been elevated because he's now a leader of the opposition, is Rahul Gandhi. So whether you like it or not, the framing, the narrative is going to be between these two men. And for whatever it's worth, the upside for Rahul Gandhi is far more than what it is for Prime Minister Modi. He's been in power for the last 10 years. And in this term, this last 3 months or so, there seems to be a bit of, I don't know, fatigue, tired, maybe jaded. I don't know. There's been a bunch of U-turns, etc., etc. But this is the framing that's going to go on for the next 5 years. And something needs to happen for this to be corrected. Maybe the BJP should start winning state elections or whatever it is, I don't know. But politically, whereas prior to 2024, Rahul Gandhi was not seen anywhere in the leagues close to Mr Modi. Mr Modi was this towering figure, and he towered over and lauded over every other political leader out there. But today that gap seems to have been bridged to some extent. Kanchan Gupta, that was to you.
There are 3 parts to your question. Now, but before I get into what you asked, I just wanted to mention, when we are discussing the economy of a country, whether it is India or China or America or EU or whatever, we should not make frivolous references to Oxfam report and things like that. I mean, we are not running charity houses. No, I'm sorry to say. Please, you had your say.
Let's not have this crosstalk, please. The question was to him. Let him answer, please. Thank you.
So there's a particular reason why Oxfam reports wouldn't be taken seriously by economists in any country. A charity house report is never taken seriously in terms of framing economic policy. So you should look at what IMF is saying, what the World Bank is saying, what the UN's poverty reduction reports are saying, which Shazia has referred to in great detail. Number one. Number two, when you are referring to manufacturing in India, no reference was made to this production-linked
incentive
program, which was launched by the government. That has now showed results. And it is continuing to show results as the government expands PLI. I mean, look at the manufacture of cell phones in India. We have now become one of the major manufacturers of cell phones. Now, we have to look at the new manufacturing sector. We are investing heavily in manufacturing chips. Those are the factories of the future, not smokestack factories which produce smokestack products. So this understanding has to come in. Number two, a new report which Morgan Stanley has released, it shows that in September 2024, India had overtaken China in terms of its weightage in the MSCI Emerging Markets Investable Markets Index, which means more people are looking at India favorably as an investment destination than they're looking at China. Okay. This is in September 2024. Now, no idiot in this world would be looking at India as an investment destination had we not been promising delivery on the economic front.
I want to give the final word to Neerja Chaudhary. The economy is one part. I'm more focused on the political framing going into the next set of elections. You have assembly elections in Haryana, in Jammu and Kashmir, Maharashtra, Jharkhand. It seems like post the 2024 result, the party that won is behaving like it's still in shock. And the party that came second is almost like they're a shoo-in from power. So this framing, as we approach the assembly elections, how may that change? I mean, I don't see that changing unless, something radical is announced in terms of policy, or there is a radically different trajectory when it comes to these assembly election results. Suddenly the BJP wins, let's say 4 out of 4 or 3 out of 4. Do you see that sort of political trajectory changing?
Yes, certainly that political trajectory will be impacted by the results of these 4 assembly elections, and then of course Delhi next year and Bihar next year. But I would say, good or bad, shallow or deep, Rahul Gandhi, what he's saying, what he stands for is resonating so much more than was the case in the past. Even if you look at the last 2 months since the election results have come out. And he is increasingly becoming the symbol of all those who are opposed to Narendra Modi and the BJP. Now, it will be very interesting to see the reception he gets in Washington, D.C. Who are the political personalities who will meet him? What is the importance that the American establishment gives to him? That would be, I think, will be very interesting to watch that also. But certainly coming to our elections, yes, suppose the BJP does manage to win 2 out of 4. It will give it a huge fillip that the Prime Minister is still popular, that the BJP is still going strong. Suppose they lose all. Then that is bad news. Then they'll really have to, you know, get their act together.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all our guests. We'll see how this story plays out. I think it's going to be a fascinating winter of elections and then reading the political tea leaves. But like I said, while his image certainly has changed, no doubt about it, he seems to have now acquired, by virtue of becoming the leader of the opposition, a certain degree of heft. But his propensity to say controversial stuff which may not necessarily be backed in fact, etc., that still seems to be a problem that just doesn't seem to be going away for Rahul Gandhi. But yes, no doubt about it, his image has seen a dramatic sort of makeover, shift, call it what you want, first through Bharat Jodo and then subsequently, of course, the Lok Sabha elections campaign and now the result and his elevation as leader of the opposition. Meanwhile, let's